What's up guys, Thomas from FT86 Speed Factory, and today we're starting a new series called Tech Tip Tuesday. So every Tuesday we're going to have a short how-to video on things you should know about if you own an FRS, BRZ, or H6. So for today's Tech Tip Tuesday, we're going to be installing a Catback exhaust, and specifically it's going to be the new Invidia N2 Catback. Now, unless you have a fancy lift like this, you're gonna have to jack up your car, but please do not get underneath your car unless you're using jack stands. Don't work on your car without jack stands. Okay, now we're gonna be removing our center exit exhaust, and this is gonna be relatively easy because the hardware is so new. It's not rusted on there like a stock exhaust would. If you're removing the stock exhaust or an aftermarket system that's been on your car for a little bit, I highly recommend that you use some PB Blaster. Let that soak on the rusted out hardware, and that'll make it a little bit easier when you're removing it. Now, once you've got the hardware of the exhaust loosened, it's now time to work on the exhaust hangers, the rubber exhaust hangers. And I highly recommend that you pick up one of these tools. This is like 15 bucks. It's an exhaust hanger removal tool. And then you also get a can of WD-40. This makes the process so much easier since the stock exhaust is held on by one exhaust hanger on the mid pipe and then 4 holding up the muffler in the back. And that's a ton, and your thumbs are gonna be broken by the time you get all those done. So definitely recommend getting these. Now, how I do this is I get a little bit of WD-40, I get the little nozzle in between the metal and the rubber and squirt some in there and kind of lubricate it so it helps its way out. Then you gotta slide the tool on there and just squeeze it out. Then you can remove the last couple bolts holding this on and remove the exhaust as one piece. Now's a good time to check the condition of the donut gasket on the front pipe here, because most aftermarket catbacks require you to reuse the donut gasket here, and they actually require you to use the stock hardware up here as well. You should check with your catback because the Invidia N2 is a 3-piece catback design. So there's 3 sections, but they only give you 2 sets of gaskets and hardware. So we're gonna be using this gasket and the stock hardware for this install. Now, the way I'm going to be installing this catback system is from the back of the car first. That's the order I'm going to be doing it in. So that means the mid pipe first, and I'm going to loosely install the hardware to the front pipe so it just kind of dangles. Now, this is a 3-piece system, so the second piece is actually going to be held in by this exhaust hanger here, and then the muffler section, I'm going to put that on last, all with loose hardware, by the way, and that's going to be held on by the 4 exhaust hangers in the back here. All right, so we got the exhaust up on the car, we got the gaskets in, but the hardware is loose because next we're gonna be aligning the exhaust so the exhaust tips come out of the center of the cutouts here and everything looks symmetrical. So the way we can do that is you can initially get them centered by moving around them on the exhaust hangers, and then when we come to tightening them down, we're gonna start from the front of the car and work our way back. The reason we're going from the front to the back is to make sure we don't have any exhaust leaks. So once that's done, we're gonna take it outside and hear how it sounds. All right, so this exhaust surprised me. It looks a lot like the design of the MXP Comp RS, which, as you know, is a very aggressive sounding exhaust system. It's pretty loud too, and this one, it's actually more on the tame side. So I could compare it to like the Gemini R400 from Invidia. This one's like a little bit louder than that. You get a little bit of drone at 3,000 RPMs, between like 2,800 and 3,200 RPMs. So it's louder, but it's almost like they changed the tone around. So like as the Gemini had like a nice tone up higher in the frequency, this one's all bass. There's a bunch of low end bass to this exhaust. That's why you get a little bit of drone at 3,000 RPM. So this is totally opposite of the tone spectrum as the Gemini R400, but it's a little bit louder. So if the R400 wasn't loud enough for you, you like bass, this would be a perfect exhaust for you, and you get the looks of the cool and pretty stylish MXP Comp RS. So yeah, it's not as loud as the Invidia N1 as I thought it would be. So that's pretty cool. So they've definitely got a tiered system for each exhaust. It gets louder and louder as you go up the scale. So I guess that scale would read the Q300 and then the Gemini R400, and then you'd have this guy, the N2, and then you'd have the N1. And as that scale goes up, they get drastically louder. So if you guys like these Tech Tip Tuesdays, you want to see more, write the suggestion down of the video you'd like to see in the future. And that's all I got for you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, jeez, I just about dropped this.